GOP Senator Bill Cassidy was asked by Chuck Todd how he plans on selling the bipartisan infrastructure bill to other Republican lawmakers who may not want to give the Biden administration a win on any of his legislative agenda. Let's hear how he framed the question and how Cassidy responded.
What's your case to some skeptical Republicans who, on one hand, I think want to go home and say, hey, I did get some work done. I was able to secure funding for this bridge over here or this restoration project over there. But somehow the political chattering class tells them, hey, you're going to give Joe Biden a win, right? Because you're supporting a bill he supports. And I know we're so politically cynical in this town, but sadly, there's quite a few senators that stick their finger in the wind with the political base and make a decision on it. How do you walk that line? What's your message to those Republican senators?
If you go home and talk to constituents who are stuck in traffic for an hour and a half getting to work and an hour and a half getting home, 3 hours a day that they don't spend with their family, they want a bridge coming to a town near them.
Now, of course, Bill Cassidy doesn't bring up the fact that the bipartisan infrastructure bill is actually a giveaway to private corporations, which would privatize public infrastructure, meaning that Americans are likely to still experience that awful traffic. It's just that now there will be tolls involved that private companies get to take advantage of. Now, aside from that, though, Cassidy then gives, I think, one of the most ridiculous examples of how he can sell this to the Republican Party. Let's watch.
My wife says that roads and bridges are a woman's problem, if you will, because oftentimes it is the woman, aside from commuting to work, who's also taking children to school or doing the shopping. And the more time she spends on that road, the less time she spends doing things of higher value. So if you speak to her, she's going to say, this is a good bill.
You know, I do often feel that way when I'm on the road. I think to myself, wow, this infrastructure that's crumbling and all this traffic that I'm stuck in seems like a woman's problem. Seems like, I look around and I see all these male drivers and I'm like, nah, I'm just seeing things. I'm just one of the many women, who's experiencing this, and it really is a woman's problem, as I'm on my way to go shopping.
Yeah. Man, there were so many things packed into that little segment right there. Okay, first of all, I like his assumption that Republican men are bums. He's like, no, women, they go to shopping and stuff and they gotta go to work. The men aren't gonna go to work.
You gotta drop off the kids.
Yeah. Don't men get stuck in rush hour traffic too, or do you guys not have any jobs? Okay, then secondly, the women with their shopping and the dropping off of the kids. I mean, really, in the year 2021, we're having that conversation. For the record, I drop off the kids to school, okay?
Are you a woman?
I know, right? Right now, there's a lot of right wingers like, oh, I knew it, man. He looks like the kind of the guy that cares about his kids. Weak, beta. Okay, so, and then thirdly, I love this like little random thing. And they could be at home doing things of higher value, like making new white babies.
No, or making dinner, right? Like the household duties, right? Like the womans, like they don't want to be in that rush hour traffic. No, but honestly, there's actually, this is my theory. Obviously, I'm speculating here, okay? But I have reason to believe that the reason why Cassidy is so hyper-focused on ordinary people, whether it's women or working people, whatever it is because Republicans are good at messaging. They might not seem like the brightest sometimes, but when it comes to protecting their corporate donors and ensuring that their taxes don't go up, they know how to do the appropriate messaging because their donors tell them what the appropriate messaging is. So the reason why he's hyper-focused on women or ordinary people is because he's trying to paint this picture that the individuals who are gonna benefit the most from this infrastructure bill, which does privatize some of our public infrastructure, the people who are gonna benefit the most are ordinary people. Therefore, we shouldn't have corporations pay their fair share of taxes to fund the infrastructure projects. That is really the message that you're seeing from Republicans. And the fact of the matter is, in every single facet of life, Our infrastructure is utilized by private corporations in order to maximize their profits. You're talking about ordinary workers stuck in rush hour traffic. They're stuck in rush hour traffic, yes, to earn a paycheck. Oftentimes they're underpaid for the work that they're doing. But at the end of the day, they're rushing to work to make profit for executives and for these private companies. Obviously, these private companies also stand to benefit after they privatize public infrastructure and implement all sorts of tolls. And of course, he doesn't even mention that, the very people who benefit the most tend to take advantage of these programs, but not pay their fair share in funding them. 100%. That's all it is.
Yeah, let me piggyback off Anacom's. So first of all, we were supposed to raise the corporate tax rate to pay for this, and of course we're not going to, because guys like Bill Cassidy, they're a little less concerned about the womans, as Anna's dad says, okay, than they are about their corporate donors. So Cassidy's basically like, don't worry, I got your ass covered, okay? Yep. You're not gonna pay a single dollar more. And so the irony here is that he's arguing in favor of an infrastructure bill. It's a little ironic because he's saying, I'm pro women, that is why I wanna do this infrastructure bill, because I care so much about women's ability to shop, which is mainly what they do. You can see how pro women he is, right? Yeah. But he's using that as a cover to help his corporate donors.
Exactly.
Oh, look, squirrel. I mean, women, they're shopping, they need to shop. And then they gotta get back in the kitchen. We're doing it for them, the poor women. They gotta drop the kids off at school. No, don't look at my corporate donors. Or they're gonna charge tolls on those same women for the rest of their lives and rob them of their well-being and their income that they're driving to work too, so I can protect my corporate donors and make sure they pay no taxes at all and that they profit off the scheme.
Exactly, and think about commerce. Commerce stands to benefit from improved infrastructure. Yeah. So again, it's a way of communicating to the American people that you need this, okay? You need this infrastructure bill, even though it might actually make your life a lot more expensive and a lot more difficult, and the very people who are skirting their taxes for these projects are not in any way the ones who actually benefit from this infrastructure the most. That's what this is really about. And yes, he's out of touch. That's the point that everyone else is gonna make, which I think is an obvious point and a boring point. We just wanna add a little more to it.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.